Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to TeeShirtz and Tea Tuesdays, guys. It is that time. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is Tuesday. So listen, guys, I hope that y'all have y'all teacups ready because I got a little tea to spill tonight. So unfortunately, our expert advisor that we had scheduled to come on the show tonight is not going to be here due to a business emergency. His name is Brian Tooks. He's our expert advisor. He specializes in patenting and trademarking, which means that he's an attorney. And I was so excited about having him come on the show because I really wanted him to give our viewers a bit of information to let y'all know what the difference is between a patent and a trademark and why they are so important, right? So even if you don't have a business, but you own a brand, you would still need to know that information. Unfortunately, as I said, he had a business emergency and he wasn't able to make it tonight. I guess when he comes on the next time, he'll kind of share a little bit about his father's brand. He has a barbecue sauce brand that they are now distributing to 119 Walmart stores, and they had some mix-ups with inventory, and so he had to get on that, and I understand that. So with that being said, we are going to push through, y'all. We are going to push through tonight. So before we get started, let me also get into our housekeeping. Guys, make sure that you like, share, follow, subscribe to any of our platforms. Make sure whatever social media platform that you are on, like, share, follow, heart, do all of that great stuff. And drip a little bit of this drip on your news feed to your friends, your families, your coworkers. Share this show because why? Sharing is caring. Also, guys, we want to hear from you in the comment section. So go ahead and leave your comments over there. We want to hear from you tonight. Tonight, we're going to get into a little bit of information. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and let you know who was on the show last week. So if you weren't tuned in to our show last week, guys, y'all missed a treat. We had CPA Lanita Mitchell Blackwell, who is also an attorney, on the show as our expert advisor. And when I tell you she spilled some good old-fashioned hot tea, she gave it all to us, honey. She gave us life on the platform last week. So if you haven't had a chance to see that show, go ahead after this show and head on over to TeeShirtz and Tea Tuesdays and watch the rerun. Play it back, honey. Play it back. As they say, roll that beautiful bean footage. Y'all know I'm just silly anyways. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and give you a clip, a little bit of flashback to last week's show. We'll stay tuned and we'll be right back, okay?
So excited that you've taken the time out to join us. Have another very special guest today. We have a CPA, we have an attorney, we have a publisher, an author, and a great speaker.
I believe that any presentation that you make needs to begin and end with courtesy. One of the things that has stuck with me my entire life that my great-grandfather used to say, who only had a third-grade education, was, "Young lady, there are 3 phrases that will get you through where education and network will not. Please, thank you, and excuse me." Every quarter, you must pay money to somebody to seed into you. I do the free stuff too. Everything is not and cannot be free. Whose life is it?
Mine.
Yeah. Whose life is it?
Mine.
Right. Do you allow somebody to come in your house and tell you how to run your furniture? No. So why in the world do you allow somebody else to tell you how you're going to live your life and feel about yourself? Coach Alexis Lior says that when you stand in front of an audience, they need to leave with something that they can use.
For a person, so okay, we covered the individual who's doing the side hustle. You know, they now are at a place where they're no longer side hustling. They, like you said, it's time to make the mental shift. Now you got two rivers of income, and so how are we going to deal with that? What about the person who is stuck in a job and absolutely miserable, right? In this job, and they feel as though they have ideas, they're passionate about something, but they're afraid to step out and start an actual business doing what they actually could earn income from doing. What do you say to those individuals?
So there are two things that you just said that are so important. Every lesson, every opportunity that the divine spirit brings to us is an opportunity for us to grow. And if we don't get the lesson the first time, then it is represented later. And you change the names, you can change the circumstances, but something about it is going to trigger some deja vu, and you're going to realize I'm back here again. Okay. I'm saying this because you're in this job that you hate. We have to learn to love and appreciate something about that job, even if it's, quote, just the check, even if it's just the desk that we sit at. Until we learn to love and appreciate it, we're going to find ourselves at some point later with the same thing until we learn to be in gratitude. And that gratitude cannot be hijacked and determined by some external force. Just like when I was talking about this whole cheer squad thing.
Yes.
Right. And it kept coming up for me because I wouldn't deal with redoing the narrative for myself, that I have to decide what success is and that I feel good about me regardless as to what other people think or say. Right?
Yes.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, as we are going through that gratitude journey, now we have these positive feelings that we can have as we are searching for the next thing. And then that thing will come to us gravitationally like magnets, right? It will come to us and we will know and we'll be able to make an informed decision. This must have been about 5 or 6 years ago. I was working for a litigation firm and I did not like it. I didn't like it because they had some really filthy ways up in that place, right? And I remembered saying to Lord, I was like, I really want to be delivered from this. But I was not hearing next steps. And so it wasn't until I was able to say, but I am grateful for the people because they were lovely. I'm grateful for the work because it did sharpen me and enable me to step out and do my own thing, right? I was grateful for the opportunities that came because I got licensed in another state. That the next opportunity came. And that next opportunity was big. And it required me to step out big on my faith. But that could not have happened in that way if I had had a really funky stank attitude that matched that place.
Got you. Wow. Find the light. find that thing that just, keeps you fueled, right?
Yes.
Grateful for where you are. I love that. Hello, and I'm back. I hope y'all love that replay. That was some good tea. I know that there are so many of us who are in job industries and working jobs that we're not necessarily happy about. And there are some of us who never even dreamed or aspired to work for ourselves. We just always were conditioned to work for someone else and never really even thought that it was something that could happen. It's so interesting because I can't remember who I was speaking with, one of the guests on the show, and I was saying, hey, when it, for our baby boomers, those of us who are kind of conditioned to believe that, you go and you work for someone else, and because of your age, you're not able to start a business. But then someone was like, their 75-year-old grandmother started an auntie's baked goodies company where she's baking her cookies and like really selling her brand. So it's never too late. And we can always use, like Dr. Lanita was saying, is really use where we are, where we currently are, as a launching pad to get us to where we need to be. There's something, if we're at a job that we're not happy with, finding that light at the end of the tunnel, that one thing that we like about the job that helps us to stay there and to learn the lesson that we will need to equip us for where we're going in the future. Now, I wanted to say good evening again. We have our friend of the show who happens to be my mother-in-law. She never misses an episode. Thank you so much to my mother-in-law for tuning in. She says, hello, everyone. You all make sure that you put your thumbs up, your hearts, your comments over in the comment section because I want to hear from you. So I was trying to figure out which direction I wanted to go in tonight and what I wanted to touch on, because our guest that we had for the show will not be able to be here tonight. Again, his name is Attorney Brian Tooks. He is a patent and trademark attorney. He was going to come in and speak with us about, trademarks versus patents, why they are important as business owners. I know that you all know that, or maybe you don't, but more than 80% of the things that we see in this country that we use every day, like the traffic light, if you have a pull-out sofa, if you're using a cell phone, all of these things were created by Black people. Some of those items, some of the things that were created, because they weren't properly patented, they were open for someone to be able to steal. So you guys, it's important as brand owners, we put a lot of money into image and how we look, how our brand looks. We go and take all of the pictures and we do all the photo shoots and all of those things, but we're not properly safeguarding our asset, and that is our brand. And so when we don't do that and somebody beats us to the punch and they actually go in and they actually, patent your brand, the brand that you created, then we're kind of like out on the streets, right? I want to say last year, I don't know if you guys remember the show Bring It with Coach D, and she had the dancing dolls, right? She went ahead and patented her dancing dolls brand, but then there was some with a patent, a trademark. She went ahead and trademarked her dancing dolls brand, right? And so with trademarks, they have different industries, different categories. And so you might have dancing dolls face soap or dancing dolls apparel, dancing. I mean, there are so many different categories. And there was one category specifically for apparel that she did not trademark. And so an HBCU college actually went and trademarked that particular, no, I think it was something else that she didn't trademark that they did. And so they basically told her that she couldn't use her own brand. she was told that she could not use her own brand, guys, one that we've seen on national television, that's made her who she is today in the US. She could not use her own brand. So what she did was she put a trademark infringement against the HBCU, basically saying that they could not wear anything with the name because she had patented the apparel side of the dancing dolls. So, with that being said, I'm sure that there was an amicable a settlement between the two where they were able to work it out. But that is a prime example of why it is so important that as business owners, when we're going to spend money initially in the beginning of building our brand, once you realize, okay, this is the brand that I love, I'm going to definitely go with this logo, I'm going to go with this aesthetic, I'm going to do all of that, that you safeguard your brand. Okay, so that is what he was coming to talk about and to discuss with us. Next Tuesday is actually our last episode for the season. We'll be on hiatus until May. When we come back in May, we might have him on if we're not able to squeeze him in on next Tuesday. But I really would love for you guys to be there and to share this information with your friends and family. He has a lot of good information. Now, with all of that being said, I was reading up on some business news and noticed that there are quite a few Black businesses that are struggling financially, especially in the state of Georgia. I want to say the percentage was pretty high. I want to say it was like 40% of Black businesses were struggling to stay open because of the lack of funding. So I happened to be at my credit union, and there was a young lady there who told me about this grant. It's called the Employee Retention one moment, guys. Let me pull it up for y'all. The Employee Retention Credit. So what it is it's a tax credit for business owners who had W-2 employees in the year of 2020, as well as in the year of 2021. If you have W-2 employees for both years, then you're able to collect more of a tax credit, and they send it to you in the form of a check. So if you had employees, W-2 employees in the year of 2020 or in the year of 2021, you want to tune in. You want to listen to this. So the Employee Retention Credit is a refundable tax credit for businesses that continue to pay employees while shut down due to COVID-19 pandemic or had significant declines in gross receipts from March 13, 2020 to December 31st, 2021. Eligible employers can claim the ERC on an original or adjusted employment tax return for a period within those dates. Only recovery startup businesses are eligible for ERC in the fourth quarter of 2021. Who's eligible? An employer is eligible for the ERC if it sustained a full or partial suspension of operations, limiting commerce, travel, or group meetings due to COVID-19, experienced significant declines in gross receipts during 2020, or a gross decline in receipts during the third quarter of 2021. Qualified in the third or fourth quarter of 2021 as a recovery startup business. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and check this out. Now, when you go in to research this particular tax credit, you go to the IRS.gov. There are a lot of fakes, frauds, a lot of scammers that have websites out there that tell you that you have to pay a certain amount of money up front in order for your application to be processed, which is not true. So you have to make sure that you're finding the right people. Again, for more information about this particular tax credit, go to irs.gov. And when you put in the search bar, IRC, it will pull up all of the information about this particular tax credit. Limitations: wages reported as payroll costs for PPP loans, forgiveness, or certain other tax credits can't be claimed for the ERC in any tax period. So I guess they don't want you double dipping, right? If you got PPP for payroll in specific time frames, you will not be able to collect that tax credit during that particular time frame for which you receive PPP funding. And they also go into how to claim your tax credits as an employer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you don't necessarily only have to have a W-2 employee. It sounds like if you had a high percentage of gross receipts or declines in significant gross receipts within a certain period, you also could be eligible for that. I do believe that for this ERC, it's like $26,000. So you can wind up getting $26,000 for each employee if you're able to show that you had employees for 2022, W-2 employees for 2020 and 2021, not 2022, I apologize, 2020 and 2021. So if you are able to show that, then you're able to collect $26,000 per employee, which is a lot of money. But don't let the dollar signs fool you. Now, if you didn't have employees during that time, do not take them people money, because they will come pick you up, okay, and put you in the clink. Okay, so we don't want that. You want to make sure that you're on the up and up. If you're not sure whether or not you qualify for the ERC tax credit, if you're not sure if you qualify for that, I found a really good website where they actually take you through a questionnaire, and you do the questionnaire, and the questionnaire lets you know whether or not you are eligible to receive ERC employee retention credits. Okay, so this website, and also this is another thing that I want you all to do. Anytime that you're looking at giving a business any type of personal information, your bank account, your EIN number, your social security number, your birthday, anytime that you're looking at giving out any type of sensitive information that's not readily made available to the public, your personal information or your business information, you always want to research the business. Go to Better Business Bureau, put that business in the search engine, and check to make sure that this business is on the up and up. Look at what their grade is. Even if they're not a BBB member and they've done business, a lot of times you'll be able to see from the feedback that people leave what type of business it is. So for instance, with me, I go on YouTube a lot, right? And I'm sure a lot of you do too. But there are a lot of ads on YouTube that look appealing, right? They might have a exercise, weight loss, whatever the case may be. Before I even give any attention to that, I go automatically to BBB to look up the grade for that particular business, and you will be able to see customer complaints and different things like that. And a lot of times you'll be able to see that those complaints are legitimate, because a lot of the complaints are pretty much surrounding the same issue, right? Maybe not getting your refund back, items not being shipped on time, a whole bunch of different things. So you want to make sure that when you go and research businesses, that you look them up and that you do your due diligence, okay? The other thing is the website is www.ercspecialist.com. That's www.ercspecialist.com. I did call them on yesterday. I spoke with them. I was able to ask a lot of great questions. They gave me a lot of great answers. Before I even called them, I went and checked them out on the Better Business Bureau, and they have an A+ grade. They have an A+ rating, right? So this is, if you are interested or you think that you might be qualified, or you're not sure if you're qualified for the ERC grant, go and check it out. Anyways, it's better to know than to not know. Don't just assume that you're not eligible, because as the representative told me yesterday, they want you to do the questionnaire, because a lot of times you might not think that you're not eligible, but maybe you're eligible. You might not have W-2 employees, but you might have other variables that will make you qualified for this grant. So make sure, and this tax credit does not have to be repaid. That's why I'm calling it a grant, because it does not have to be repaid back, right? Which is different from the EIDL, Target grant, Target loan, and all of those. A lot of those you have to actually go back and pay those funds back. But this ERC, employer retention credit, you do not have to pay it back. So you think about it, if you had 10 W-2 employees for 2020 and 2021, you want to make sure that you're able to go in and claim those credits so that you can get that $26,000. That can do for each employee, right? That's a lot of money. That's $200 and some $1,000 if you have 10 employees. So make sure that you're going in and you're checking this out. Do the research. Again, the name of the website that I went to, you do your own due diligence. I'm telling you what I found. I'm not recommending anything to you. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm saying if you're interested, go and check out this particular business. Do your due diligence and see if this company is a right fit for you. Again, that company is ercspecialist.com. That's E as in Eric, R as in Roger, C as in Charles, specialist.com. And even if you Google the name, their website will come up at the top of the Google search. So that's for funding for our Black businesses. I do know that the research that I read about this particular grant is that there's a lot of money still left on the table. There's a lot of money for this tax credit that is still left on the table. And the reason for that is because a lot of us don't know about it. A lot of Black businesses don't know about it. Guys, listen, and don't answer the phone for those people who call you. Scammers talking about, hey, we got an ERC program that we wanted to, you're eligible, and we want to, find out if you want to apply for it, and you got to pay them $500 or $1,000 up front. No. Or they want 20% of whatever you're getting back. No. Y'all keep your money and go with a company that is legitimate, that has experience and expertise in doing the job. Now, what they did say, one of the representatives from ERC, and I forgot to mention this, they did say that whatever you put down in terms of the questionnaire, they do not go back and fact check. They do not go back to verify that what you are saying is true. They depend upon you as the applicant to put in true information, right? So he gave that disclaimer up front because they're not taking any liability for people who are inaccurately or falsifying information in order to get these funds. So make sure that anytime you're dealing with the government, that you try to be above board as much as possible, okay? So that's it for the ERC specialist. Okay, so now I have some good business news. So y'all know Madam C.J. Walker, the queen of Black hair care products, which put Black hair care products on the map. So Madam C.J. Walker has passed on, but she still has her brand. So her great-granddaughter has decided with her team to relaunch Madam C.J. Walker's brand, which I thought was kind of cool because we see so many different hair care brands that specialize in hair growth, which is one of the things that Madam C.J. Walker's brand did, is it promoted healthy hair growth within the Black community, right? And so we see a lot of products. We have a lot of Black women who are releasing hair growth serums that seem to work, like Canvas Beauty is one of them. There are a few others out there that are promoting their brand as one that actually grows the hair. But Madam C.J. Walker is the one who put hair growth products on the map for the Black community. And she was the first millionaire in that particular industry. So I thought that was some good tea to share. Let me go ahead and take a sip on that. That was good. So now let's go ahead and get into one last thing before we go for the evening. So I've been on social media. Sometimes I'm not on there as much because I have to be on social media for work, right? So I don't really do a whole lot of personal stuff on social media. It's just very draining, exhausting. But I've noticed over the past, I want to say like 4 months or so, that I've been seeing a lot of information or a lot of posts of people like crying, depressed, upset. And one of the individuals, I don't know if you guys know her, but her name is Stormy Steele. She is the CEO and founder of Canva Girl, right? It's a hair care product. And she is also one of the she's actually one of the celebrity stars on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And so she took a break back in December because there's a lot of just like bullying and hate going on social media, right? But what most people don't know is if you are a person that never experienced like depression, anxiety, and that's another thing that I've been hearing a lot more of, people having anxiety attacks, and it's just like major. And I'm like, man, when I was in school, we never really knew about this stuff. Like, where is this coming from? But there's a direct link between the amount of time that you spend on social media to anxiety, depression, and a lot of other mental health illnesses. So what I wanted to do was just share, according to Pew Reports, Pew Research Center, 69% of adults and 81% of teens in the U.S. use social media. They are saying that there's an uptick of the number of youth that are experiencing suicidal thoughts, who are experiencing depression and anxiety. And what they're finding is that is directly linked to the amount of time that our youth are spending on social media. What was really interesting is that they said the same dopamine that's produced when you eat food, you do drugs, you have sex, all of those things, is the same amount, that the same dopamine that is released when you are using social media, because there is a reward system, right? When you get a certain amount of recognition, when you get a certain number of likes, a certain number of hearts, when you get a certain number of comments, all of those things, especially if they're positive comments, it feeds the dopamine, right? It gives you that high. And so it makes it addictive. And so what I'm encouraging people to do is just take a break from social media. Actually go outside, take a walk, go to the beach, go outside and just look at the trees, let the air hit your face. Like, get out of the house and enjoy life. Because when you do that, you're going to notice a different level of energy, a different level of life that you feel, right? You don't feel stale. You don't feel stuck. You're not comparing yourself to other people. We already had that stigma on us when we had magazines. Magazines was the big deal, right? You see women on magazines, you're looking at their body, you're comparing your body to what their body looks like. You're looking at your facial features. Oh, my nose is too big, my lips are too fat or too wide, my eyes are too far apart. Like, you're comparing yourself to other people. And that is where we can get into a slump of feeling a certain level of depression. So I just want to encourage you all to be on social media, like, share, whatever, but make sure you're taking out time daily to just remove yourself from that situation. Get away from your computer, get away from your laptop, and actually go out and experience life. You can make money, and that's all well and fine, but you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, which is wealth, if you don't have your health and the ability to go out and enjoy what you spent, then it's all for nothing, right? We cannot take money with us, right? But the time that you are able to spend with your family, the time that you're able to spend outside of your home, those are the things that count. So y'all make sure that you're doing that. The other thing, just one last thing too, that I wanted to share is that I also read an article about our millennials, guys. Listen, millennials are making $26,000 a month doing the things that they're passionate about. So that is I'm sharing that to say, which leads me to our Harlem Nights, because I'm going to share some of our promotions and upcoming events. But Harlem Nights with a modern twist, that's what we're all about. We're all about bridging the gap between our older generation and our younger millennial generation, right? And so our millennials and our Z generations can show us a whole lot that we don't know or don't have access to, right? If we come together and we work together, we can do a lot of great things. Like I be scratching my head trying to figure out how these young people making so much money. They are becoming millionaires a lot faster than baby boomers or Generation Xers. They got it, y'all. So us, as a people, we have to come together and collaborate, partner, work together in business and in personal life. In our personal life, that's the only way we're going to make it anywhere. That's the only way we're going to get past the hard times that are coming, is when we start to connect and we begin to move together. So let's see. Looking at some of the comments, we have Mahek Kazi. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mahek. She gave us some fire, some heat. Yes, thank you so much. She also said, so insightful. Thank you so much, Kelly, for that. Let's see who's next. We have another comment. Prim Rathod. You are awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So are you. And let me see. One last comment for this evening before we move on from the show. This is Estella Rush, which is my mother-in-law, says, this is real. I'm glad you are talking about mental health, especially with our youth. Yes, this has become a phenomenon, right? Our youth seem to be a lot more fragile than, I can remember our generation being. And I do believe that that's directly related to social media. The impact of video games, social media, just not being outside of the house and learning how to deal with adversity in real life, right? A practical, real life way of applying problem solving skills. A lot of our children don't know, right? And so it's a major thing. Mental health is a major thing. So parents, if you have children, take their electronic devices, have them to turn their devices in at a certain time at night. Make it a habit. Okay, so it's 5:00. Let's turn our devices in, because they're working on laptops and iPads all day at school. I think most schools are now going digital, right? So we don't want to keep those things in their hands and in their faces all day. Make sure they have some reprieve. They go outside, they ride bicycles, they play with neighbors. Like, all of these things help to increase the creativity of our children. And it also helps them to learn how to socialize, right? That's another thing I've noticed. A lot of our younger generation, our millennials and Generation Zs, they get anxiety when they're around too many people. They can't handle it. Like, they don't know how to be in the same room with a bunch of their own peers. Where with my generation, when we were in high school, we had assemblies with all of our peers, and that was fun and exciting. But since the pandemic, we're seeing a turn where that's concerned. So we want to begin to go back and pick up some of those old school ways. Everything that's old school, everything that's OG, right? Everything that's old school is not all bad. We need to pick up some of those things from our older generation, go back and relearn some of the things that we unlearned, because we're moving in an evolutionary way, which that's not a problem. We can't stay where we were, but there are some things about old school that are beneficial for us to take along and apply for each generation, along with whatever new evolution is coming along, right? So we want to always be changing, but we also want to keep some things consistent. And so, yeah, guys, I think that's it for me. I hope that you all enjoyed this episode. Of course, we talk about business. We ain't talking about Wendy Williams, hot topics, and all that other stuff. We're talking about stuff that can actually grow and make you money. If you all have missed any of our other episodes, we had a great 3 shows talking about consumer law. I've been learning a whole lot, y'all. I have been learning a whole lot about consumer laws. And when I tell you this stuff is real, these are the laws that our lawmakers make for us. And we don't realize how many things we see and do every day that's fraudulent, like mortgages and car loans that include cash, right? There are so many different things. What a credit card actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all like, did y'all know that your Social Security card is a credit card, an instrument, a credit card? Like, these are things that your tag on your car. Come, y'all, listen, y'all better get with it. Get with it. Y'all can follow Dr. Goody. She's on Instagram. She talks a lot about consumer laws. There are some others that you can find that also discuss like consumer laws. She was on, I mentioned Dr. Goody because she's on the first episode of the season. And so, yeah, guys, make sure you go back and watch. There was a lot of good content shared this season. Y'all don't want to miss it. If it's too long, cut it up into pieces and just go back and watch it. 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. If it's too long, because I know attention span is sometimes a factor, especially because we're on social media so much. But listen, get this information. This is stuff that will free us. We will become debt free when we learn the laws that were put in place to protect us as consumers, right? With that being said, I think that is all for tonight, but I do want to share our upcoming events with you. This year, we have a couple of upcoming events, one that we'll share a little bit later. We're still working on right now, but we have our May 20th, 2023 event, which is our St. Pete Business Fest with our, which is presented by Ignite Youth Incorporated. It's the St. Pete Business Fest with Kids Zone, STEAM Kids Zone, and Kidpreneur Expo. So we are going to have adult vendors. We're going to have children vendors out here. Y'all want to come. It's, youth vendors, swag bags, games, face painting, STEAM activities, performances, great food, great fun, great time. Y'all want to make sure that you're there, great drinks. Make sure that you come. If you haven't already done so, go to our website, www.harlemnightsextravaganza.com. We also will be sharing with you all our Eventbrite link to this particular event so that you all can purchase your tickets, register as vendors. As soon as we have that up, we will be sharing it on social media, but we're letting you know now, like if you're interested and you want to be a vendor, send us an email at iyi@igniteyouthink.org.in. That's iyi@igniteyouthink.org.in if you are interested in becoming a vendor for this event. And guys, please also note that this event is co-sponsored by the city of St. Petersburg. So we are legitimate, and it's going down. And also keep an eye out on our vendors. We already have quite a few vendors that are signed up. I want to say we have about 10 food vendors, about 7 or 8 food trucks. We have some other food vendors. One of our food truck vendors was actually supposed to be on the show with us tonight, and she was going to share about her food truck, but we'll leave that for another time when she comes back to visit with us. And then we have like a Zulu, the designs by Zulu, all of the necklaces and bracelets and stuff like that. We have we have a lot of vendors, guys. We have a hair care line that'll be out there. We have a lot of vendors. And listen, honey, it's going down. So y'all make sure you keep an eye out on your news feeds. When you get that notification that we share something, take a quick peek at it. We want you to be a part. We can't wait to see you soon. With that being said, y'all, we will see you on next Tuesday for our season finale of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, you all, and we will see you soon. God bless you, and good night.